past. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Turns to sun rays, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and
feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move.
dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, my life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Fly away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Can I be your superhero? Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding
Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to what proves to be a very exciting evening that is yet to come. It's the HRL Season 5 launch, and I'm very pleased that to say that myself, Dara Thacker, and joined by the owner of the league, Mr. Rambo. Rambo, good evening.
Good evening to you as well. I think we're in for a pretty exciting stream for everyone.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I mean, I think this evening's going to be a very interesting one. We're going to talk over everything, quite frankly. We've got a surprise announcement coming up soon. We're going to, of course, go over the calendar, and then we've also got the lineups for Tier 1 and Tier 2. I mean, this is the 5th season of HRL, and I mean, if the first four seasons are anything to go by, the 5th is only just going to be better, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had pretty intense seasons in the past. Each season with different champions. Of course, season 1 we had Jake Orr. He was season 1 champion along with McLaren Constructors champions. Season 2 was E.T. Wilson who won that with McLaren's Constructors champions again. Season 3, Ethan Wright came along and just destroyed the field with McLaren winning the championship again. And then, of course, season 4, myself, I've won the championship, and Rebel won the Constructors, breaking McLaren's chain of winning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this season will be, because we've got all 4 champions racing, so it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and I do think that it's going to be an exciting season. It's a long season as well, but we'll come on to that in a bit. Anything you're particularly looking forward to talking about this evening?
Well, I think the surprise coming up will engage a lot of people.
Yes, I think, yes, I'm quite excited for that.
I don't think anyone will see it coming.
No. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have if I wasn't part of the admin team. So I'm excited to get into that. But thinking back to last season, of course, with the constructors champions from last season, it'll be interesting to see if they can carry that momentum, and with the drivers champions as well, so to see if they can carry that momentum forward into this season, because it's going to be important to get off the ground running quickly, isn't it?
Yeah, well, because we've seen the lineups, it is going to be a very tight battle. It's also a longer season this time. We've got 15 races, so that's our longest calendar yet.
Yeah.
So there's a few juicy teams in there that will be competing for that Constructors' Championship.
Yes, definitely. And I'm very excited. Should we have the surprise announcement then, to kick off the stream? Rambo, do you want to introduce this?
Do you want to leave it, or will we announce it now?
Well, should we do the calendar, and then we'll go back?
Yeah, we'll make them wait.
Yeah, make them wait. Give them the little carrot dangling in front of them. Right, so we'll go on to the calendar first then, and the calendar is looking very interesting this year. Let's bring it up there now. There you go, fantastic. You can see it on all of your screens. It's a 15-round season starting in Austria, ending in Abu Dhabi. But if we take a quick look at it from the start, take a look at it completely. I mean, we start off Austria. It's the shortest lap time of the season, and it's also hosting a sprint race for season 5, but it hosted the sprint race last season, which was of course won by Max Verstappen, who didn't go on to win the race. People will remember. But Austria, it's always a good season starter. Quick, fast track, only 10 corners, and it always produces good racing, doesn't it?
Yeah, because there's quite a lot of people that have got good pace around Austria because of the track layout. So there's always good racing around that track. So you've got the straights and then some twisty corners, and it's a relatively shortest lap on the calendar, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like, I think polls in like 1 minute 2, 1 minute 1 minute 3, 1 minute 4 kind of ish time.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic season opener. But we keep the mountain theme going when we go to the Ardennes and and Spa for round 2. Of course, that is then the longest lap time on the calendar. It's a very big contrast when we go from the shortest to the longest in the space of a week. But, I mean, it feels really close. That Belgium race is in, 9-10 days, and it'll be the last races before the start of the real-life Formula 1 season. So that's coming around very quickly indeed. And Spa's one of those classic tracks, isn't it? I mean, it's a fixed track on every calendar because it's just such an iconic circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also quite common for wet weather as well. I think that'll bring some interesting factors if it
Yes.
does rain.
Yeah, I mean, not wrong there. 'Cause
Certainly shake the grid.
exactly. I wet around Spa because it's such a long lap. You can really see big diffs in time, and especially if it dries in Spa because the lap is so long. You've got to get that pit lap spot on. Because otherwise, if you get it one in or out, you could lose, upwards of 5 seconds, and that could be massive. So, next will be Spain, and it will be the first race after the start of the Formula 1 2023 season in Bahrain. But Spain, of course, is that quote-unquote, of course, in the last decade or so, that classic test track. Of course, they're not going there this year. They're in Bahrain. But it's the track that it always feels like the teams already know the track quite intimately. And it's another one of those tracks that is quite like a fixed track on a lot of calendars. And so it's going to be interesting to see how tight it is around here because it's one of those tracks where the times aren't that different. And that final sector, of course, it's in the game this year, but it may be the last time that HRL run that final sector if it's changed for real life, wouldn't it? Final chicane, not final sector.
Yeah, and if you remember back to last season, I think you were actually commentating that race.
I think I
in
was,
Spain.
yeah.
So if I remember correctly, there was like the top 5 were battling for the win
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
majority of the race. So it was a very good track for racing.
Yeah, and it always provides good racing, even though there's
Yeah, I think there will be a.
only really one overtaking spot, isn't there? But that's an interesting one.
Yeah, unless someone's feeling brave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, that's the point. I mean, there's only one typical overtaking spot, but people can try anyway. I mean, I've seen moves turn 4, turn 5. I even saw, I think last week in one league around the outside through turn 7 and 8, that bottom of the hill, the left-right combination that is quite dangerous to spin off. Someone ran the outside there, so anything can happen at Spain. And so that'll be a good one to keep things going. Then Australia. Now, Australia's an interesting one because, of course, it's the southernmost track on this calendar. It's the only one in Oceania, and of course, it's been homologated. The track's been homologated quite a lot, really. I mean, for keeping relatively the same layout, there's a lot of changes. I mean, most of the corners have been widened or being given more, just to carry more speed through. And I do think that the changes have helped the racing, so it'll be interesting to see if it rubs off.
Yeah, there's a lot more straights now, I'd say. Well, obviously they took away that corner and just made it a full straight, so that's good. Straight for overtaking opportunities.
Yeah, and also you've got to remember that for
And then
about
you've also got.
I was going to say for about 18 hours or so, that new straight had a DRS zone before they quickly took it away, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that was for the best.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so much space to overtake on at Australia. It is a really fun track to go racing at, and I'm looking forward to seeing what people can do on that one. Japan is round 5. Now, Japan's always an interesting one. Japan's the classic of the classic tracks. Barely anything has been done to Japan for decades. And, it's got the classic corners. I mean, of course, 130R, the Casio triangle right at the end of the lap where we've all seen many a big moment. You can't forget Senna and Prost. It's that classic Formula 1 moment with Murray Walker's commentary. You can't really beat Murray Walker's commentary for that. But yeah, Japan, it's not necessarily a driver's favourite. And the racing is not always exciting, but if there is a tight field, you can see moves, for example, into the hairpin, into that final chicane, and it can be quite a cagey and interesting race.
Yeah, it's a very challenging track because of the
Mm-hmm.
obviously in Sector 1 you've got the S's, which you've got to be very careful with the curbs. Um, yeah, just overall there's a lot of fast corners and traction zones that you have to be careful with. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, I'm sure, because of how challenging it is.
Yeah, no, yeah, I totally agree. But then round 6 is going to be the British Grand Prix. I mean, it's a lot of people's home Grand Prix. Of course, so it's the oldest Formula 1 track. First Formula race in 1950 was at, albeit a very different Silverstone, but Silverstone all the same. And of course, yeah, the recent years, the British Grand Prix really has served up a treat. I mean, there were a few years where you felt like there was a bit of a lull. I mean, you're looking at your 2013, 14, 15. There wasn't really a great race. But the last few years have really harked back to, the '08 days of Lewis's home win. I think that was '08, might have been '07.
Oh yeah.
In the wet.
07 or 08.
It's one of the two. But in a very wet Silverstone. But yeah, of course, in recent years, it's just shown how good the racing can be. And I think, especially with these cars being able to follow closer through Mackett's and Beckett's and through that first chicane, it really enables you to make more moves here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a very good track for racing, and it's also a sprint race for Silverstone, so
Yeah.
I'm sure that will add a lot of competition.
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. Sprint races always serve up interesting grids, especially if like a front runner has an issue in the sprint race, they have to start at the back, but they're able to start again.
Yeah.
Netherlands then. Netherlands, I always like Zandvoort. That's not necessarily a popular opinion, but I really I think the track is, I think, not necessarily fantastic for racing, but I think it's a great track to drive. Of course, recent years they've renewed the
agree.
banking, and it's just the notion of racing through the dunes, through the sand dunes, isn't it? Really, you're right next to the beach, of course. You obviously can't really tell that in game, but it's also another one where it's another one of those quote unquote classic tracks. I mean, it's been used since the 50s. Granted, again, not in this current format, but there are elements to it that you can really see. Like Turn 1 is pretty much the same as it was for decades, and it's one of those tracks where you have to really craft an overtake, and you're really going to be able to see where the cream rise to the top, don't they, at Zandvoort?
Yeah, there's a lot of altitude changes in Zandvoort, of course, with the bankings, and then there's a few quick corners in there as well. So, and it's also next to the sea, so
Yeah, it's always
another factor.
it's always a fun one. I'd love to go to Zandvoort for the race, actually, on a real life race weekend. I think that'd be great. Anyone who
No,
watches
yeah, the Dutch
Formula,
fans are
yeah, anyone who's watched Formula 3 knows that the Formula 3 around Zandvoort's absolutely mental. So much fun. So that'd be great to see in person. But another one I'd love to go to in person, at similarly crazy fans, is Monza. Granted, different colour, but it's still the same kind. Orange to red isn't that big of a difference. Orange is half red,
just
isn't
a
it?
slight change.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah,
Monza.
close enough.
Monza. It's one of those, along with Belgium and Silverstone, and you could argue Suzuka. It's one of those 3 or 4 classic. Oh, actually, and Brazil. Let's go with 5. It's one of those 5 classic tracks. That's a staple, isn't it? Really. Always good racing. Turn 1, you're always scared of. You could start last, and you could be worried about being hit into Turn 1. It's just one of those tracks. But it's always fun. And
Yeah,
it's
I
the
think
shortest. It's the shortest race in terms of race length. Only generally lasts about, 50% will only last roughly about 37, 38 minutes. So it's the shortest one,
Oh,
which
I
means
knew
it's
that.
yeah, it's because it's the fastest. Because of course a Formula 1 quota for a race is 300 kilometers. Of course, 50% would be 150 kilometers. But the obviously Monza, which is the fastest circuit, it'll just get to the 300 kilometers the fastest, which is why it's the longest. and why it's and why
Yeah.
people Singapore's the slowest. But actually, it doesn't make sense because Monaco should be. Anyway, I'll work that out later. But yeah, Monza, always a fun one, always exciting. That's right in the middle of the championship as well. It'll be the race where they'll already been 7. There'll be 7 to go, so it'll be a good one to see. We'll keep the Tifosi and the Italy theme up. With Imola next. Of course, it was called the San Marino Grand Prix, which I found egregiously wrong, because it wasn't in San Marino. It's like if you called the Donington race the Irish Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's got like 3 different names the last time I saw. You've got Imola, San Marino, and Emilia Romagna. So I don't know what one to call it. I'll just
Yeah, I think
stick with Imola.
it's the Imola track, but it's the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, formerly the San Marino Grand Prix. But yeah, of course, the Monday the 17th we'll see, and then the Tuesday the 18th they'll go around. I think someone was asking in the chat what days. Yeah, they don't last 2 days because they're 2 different days for the races. But that's Imola, of course. There's a lot of. I feel like F1. It's gone away from your Hockenheims, but it's come back to Imola.
Yeah.
And again, Imola's one of those tracks. And of course, it used to. 15 years ago, there was that chicane on the main straight, which of course they've taken out. And they've also added in the Tamburello chicane. Of course, after the
There's been a
accidents
few
that happened
changes.
in the late 90s, but the character remains the same. I mean, yeah. You've got the Aqua Minerale is just a classic corner. You dip down, you dip back out again. You do really kind of love. I love the track. I do find that I like the tracks that everyone else doesn't like, but I do love Imola. But yeah. Also a mouthful, isn't it? The name is like.
Yeah, it's usually exciting racing.
Yeah, always. I mean, the DRS towards turn 1 is insanely powerful, but it's difficult to overtake there because of the nature of the straight and the nature of the corner, isn't it?
Yeah. I did make a move in the charity event, and someone was not very happy with me, so it just proves how wrong things go into that corner.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Right then, so then if we look next, it's going to be the US Grand Prix, and we're not doing Miami, so this is going to be the only American Grand Prix. I can't quite believe it. I mean, if I said this, what I'm about to say 3 years ago, I wouldn't understand, and I would be so confused. But it is the longest running current US track of the 3. If you said that to me 3 years ago, I would be completely confused. I'd be wondering why there were 3. And to be honest, I'm still wondering why there's 3. But either way, COTA, I still think is the best track. I mean, the racing at COTA always delivers. Absolutely always delivers. Wet, dry, inters, I mean, there's so many spots to overtake on at COTA. And strategies there's always interesting. Racing, you can go side by side pretty much most of the track. And I love it, especially to commentate on.
Yeah. Well, the last 2 years in real life in F1, it was like Verstappen and Hamilton just battling it out. It's
Yeah.
just so entertaining. And also league racing. There's so many taking opportunities with the long straights, and then first sector you've got the S's. So, yeah, it's a very fun track to drive.
Yeah, insanely fun. It's probably one of my favourites, to be fair. Before then we leave America, we go back to Europe, and we go to Hungary. And Hungary, it's not much has changed as Hungary. It's again one of those cagey Grand Prix, but Hungary either delivers quite a dull race or an absolutely a crazy race. I mean, if you think about, about Hungary 2012 and how absolutely crazy that was. You could even argue the last couple of years have been really good Hungarian Grand Prix. But there have been other years
like
where
2021.
Yeah, 2021. I mean, granted that helped. Bottas helped that with the Skittles, but it's just a good track for racing if the field is tight enough, I think, and I think this year definitely will be. So I'm looking forward to that. Start of May as well. It's a long way away.
Yeah, it's the first time doing Hungary as well, so
Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And of course, with the new pit buildings, it looks all a bit fancy now, as to what it did before. Round 12, not everyone's cup of tea, but, some people's cup of tea. I quite like it, again. Singapore, round 12. It'll probably, again, be the last time that HRL runs this current layout, because, of course, they're talking about removing part of that final sector where you go underneath the grandstand. As long as they add that into the game, which you can't guarantee with Codemasters, as long as they add it into the game, this might be the last time we run this particular layout. But I do think, depending on the grid, it can be a very good race, can't it, at Singapore?
Yeah, Singapore's another new track we're doing for the first time in HRL. So, also, as we saw in 2017, if it rains, it turns out to be a very interesting race.
Oh, 2017, that was such a good race. And you got to remember also that is the longest race. I've done recently a wet dry race with just the one safety car. Well, it was dry wet, wherever it was. I think we only had half the race in the wet. But the race time for a 50% race was 61 minutes. Which is the longest. I mean, I have had one where it was 67 minutes in full wet and we had 3 safety cars. But it can be a long one. I mean, of course, it doesn't get time limited. Because, of course, it is 50%, not 100%. So the 2 hours is nowhere near met. But I do like Singapore. And that is, It feels like it's May. Goodness me. I mean, by the time we get to Singapore, in real life Formula 1, we'll already have been to Miami. So, that feels like a mile away.
Yeah.
The season finale Abu Dhabi, we'll get into that in a minute, but that'll be straight after Monaco in real life. So that's, it feels like a long season, but it just makes you realise how close the season is. Next race, though, and these final 3 races, we've taken a leaf out of 2021's book, and these are the final 3 races. I don't think they're, and I know, especially for newer fans, they won't remember older championship battles, but the 2021 last 3 races, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, it's very difficult to argue that there was a better final 3 races, and we're gonna hope that it delivers like that, aren't we?
Yeah, they're just 3 great tracks for a final. You've got different track layouts, and as proven in 2021, they're very competitive if there's a championship battle.
I don't think there is 3 more talked about. Maybe with the exception of 2021 Silverstone, but I don't think there's been 3 more talked about races since they happened than those 3. Obviously, whichever, I'm not going to get into that because I can't be bothered, frankly. But Brazil, the sprint race at Brazil, of course, Hamilton showed what you can do in sprint race at Brazil. With the sprint race.
Mm-hmm.
Brazil, 2021, Lewis on pole. 2022, Lewis on pole and then had to start last and then eventually won through the sprint. 2022, Magnussen on pole. Of course, you look back, 2008 was final corner at when Hamilton snatched the title. The classic final moments, Vettel winning the championship at the death, Schumacher letting him by, 2012. Brazil is one of. It's just I think it's the most iconic in terms of moments in Formula 1. I don't think you can quite beat it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Is that Glock going slowly? I love Interlagos, and you can't fault it. You can't have a bad race at Interlagos. It's impossible.
Nah, it's always very competitive and very good racing.
Yeah, totally. And then next, the penultimate round. Now, I worked this out actually when I was going through these tracks. This Saudi Arabian Grand Prix will be the first Grand Prix, the first track that we go to that we will have already had the 2023 Formula 1 race at. Because the only other tracks that are this early in the season are Imola, but we'll have gone to Imola in HRL before 2023, and we'll have gone to Australia before we go to Australia in 2023. So this is the first track that we'll have already seen the 2023 edition of. But Saudi Arabia, people don't like Saudi Arabia because, of course, the closest... I mean, you really have to commit at Saudi Arabia. But I think that's what I love about it. And it's so... The overtaking opportunities are great. Last corner, first corner. You can try it elsewhere if you're brave enough. But I think it's a great track, and it'll really set up a good finale.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia, you need to be so focused just because of all the really fast, tight corners. I think that's what I love about the track. It's just so... gives you like a sugar rush kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And Saudi Arabia, I can't go on about it. I do think people don't like it necessarily, but I do think, especially for proper real life Formula One, it's one of the best editions that we've had in recent years in terms of racing.
Yeah.
And then season finale, you've got to go to Abu Dhabi. Apart from 2021, the championships have been decided before Abu Dhabi, but when they're decided at Abu Dhabi, they're always good races. 2010, even, you look back at when Vettel won his first championship, stole it from Alonso, Petrov holding him up. That's the race that, to me, that's the race that basically sparked the overall desire for DRS in Formula One.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, I'm not going to go into it, but the drama that unfolded a year and a half ago cannot be discounted. And of course, with the new layout, semi-new layout, of course, turn 5, turn 9, and even most of the final sector tweaked slightly. Racing is so much better around here, and I can't wait. It's a season finale. As long as it goes down to the final race, it's going to be exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it does. It has in 3 seasons before in HRL, so I wouldn't mind another one.
Yeah, oh, no, totally agree. Right then, if I go back to the home screen, we can decide, should we do the lineups first, or should we do the announcement first?
Well, we'll see what the chat wants.
Right, yeah.
Let
So
them
do you want the
decide.
lineups and then a special announcement, or do you want the special announcement and then the lineups? Alaru says announcements. Is there any other, going once, going twice? Is there anybody else? Announcements, lineup.
2 announcements, 1 lineup.
Lineups, announcements, lineup. That's 4-3 to lineup. That's 5-3 to. I think we go for lineup. It's 5-3.
Yeah, go lineups.
Right then.
Save the best to
Lineups.
last.
Best till last. Right. So
Yeah,
first
sorry,
off,
Roy, you're gonna have to wait a bit.
this is going to be a straight reveal of the lineups. We're not drawing the lineups. They've been, and we've allocated the lineups, and roles will be given very soon after the stream. So don't worry about that. That'll all be sorted by the mods and the admins straight after the stream. But let's get going with Div 2, and I'm going to put it up on screen now. This is your Division 2 driver lineup, and you can see all of the drivers are there. I mean, it looks like a very, very close grid. You've got your Lizcos, you've got your Kierans. I don't know. I won't single people out because everybody here deserves a shout out. I can see already Ulrich's very pleased in his chat that he's got his he's got a Red Bull.
So we've got.
Yes, please. Yeah, please take us through.
First off, we've got Mr. Raw 3 in Red Bull. He was pretty quick last season, got 3 wins, I believe. So he'll be one for the title, I'm sure. Then we've got Kieran Froome and Loveklaus. Kieran Froome, he does spin a bit, quite a lot actually. So if he stops that, I'm sure he'll be in with a chance as well. Then Loveklaus, I'm pretty sure he's quite new, so interested to see what he can do. And then we've got Luzko and Spencer, 2 Mercedes boys. So I think if they can get on well, then I think they'll be a pretty effective team. McLaren, Bonsai, JB Car Crazy. JB Car Crazy, he was he had a few good results last season. Bonsai I haven't seen so much of, so interested to see what they can do. Keza, he's returning actually. He raced in our first seasons, so we could see what he can do in his comeback. Aston Martin, we have Unabortion and Fury Swips. Unabortion was a pretty consistent driver last season. And Fury Swips, I haven't seen too much of him, but I'm sure we will in this upcoming season. Then we've got Simon and Dan. I think they will be very competitive in the constructors.
Yeah.
By seeing Sim having consistent races throughout the season, then I think pretty sure Dan joined near the end, but he had very quick pace. And then moving on to AlphaTauri, we have Gilbert, another very consistent driver, and Zorbs, who I haven't seen too much of. And then moving on to Haas, we've got F1 MiG, again, very consistent throughout last season. I can't remember if he got any podiums or wins, but then alongside him is Schurzy. I believe he's new, so interested to see what he can do. Then we have Williams with Legend Life and LYZ Tomb. Legend Life, he's not been here too long, but joined near the end of the season. He was pretty consistent from what I've seen. And Tomb is brand new driver, so
Yeah.
interested to see what he can do
I
in
know.
his
I know.
debut
I know.
season.
I know. I think it's Tom B, but don't quote me on that. It does look like too though. But I have seen him, and I do. He's as well. He's very consistent. So I could put in Williams as a dark horse for the championship. Little going under the
Yeah.
radar pre-season, and then come out with a bang. I can definitely see that happening. But yeah, I mean, the grid looks incredibly competitive, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, I think constructors will be pretty close along with drivers' championship as well.
Yeah, definitely. Alaru says no chance for constructors. Well, you never know. I mean, if you win every week, Alaru, you're gonna definitely have a chance.
Yeah, you will get a teammate.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, exactly.
There was just not enough sign-ups for Tier 2, unfortunately.
No, but I mean, of course there will be. There'll be 2, wouldn't there? Over the next couple
Yeah,
of
well,
weeks.
we did have enough, but the problem was there's a lot of people Tier 1 pace, so
Yes,
it would be a
exactly.
bit unfair to put them Tier
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, I mean, anything more to say on the tier 2, or shall we move on to the tier 1?
I think we should move on to Tier 1.
Tier
I
1.
think those guys are dying to see it.
Lovely. Yes, I think they really are. We've got 27 viewers, and some of them must be the tier 1 drivers, and they'll be very much looking forward to this.
27 viewers.
Yes, we've had. I can't. Whoever's followed. There's 4 of you who followed this evening. I don't know who you are, but I can only see that the followers number is going up. So, thank you to whoever
That's what we
you
like
are.
to see.
Yeah. Watch it. Someone go on. Someone who hasn't followed now, I will watch it go to 120. Seaman Steins. I'm gonna go with Steins there. Yes, you. Thank you for following. Going quite well, chugging along nicely. Yes, Airlines says you followed this
Mr.
evening.
Rarelands has followed as well.
Yeah, great stuff. Right, let's move on to Div 1 then, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm not going to go onto that screen, sorry, apologies for that. The Tier 1 lineup is looking very, very good. There it is. It's incredibly competitive. I would not want to pick out anywhere. I mean, yourself, you're in a Ferrari, Rambo. I quite like that Ferrari.
Yeah.
But you look at some of the teams. Airlines. You're going to be very pleased, but that you've got Wilson with you, because it's Wilson. So you know, you got to be pleased with that. You look at Ghost and Taylor. I think that's quite a good team in the Mercedes. Who are your picks though?
Yeah, as long as they
Rambo?
don't spin.
Apart from Ferrari, of course.
I think the 4 apart from Ferrari that'll be most competitive, I'm going to say Alpine, McLaren, Mercedes, and Red Bull.
Yeah.
So there's some very quick driver lineups there. And I think the other teams will be underdogs, to be honest, because we haven't seen too much of them. Seb's MB, he's very quick. His teammate, we haven't seen too much of. C, he's promoted from Tier 2. He came second in the Tier 2 Championship last season. And then he's alongside Vettel fan, who joined late last season. In AlphaTauri, that's also a good lineup. We've got Maurice and Sinak. Sinak actually won the finale last season. And then Williams got Nina and AJ. I haven't seen too much of them, so interested to see what they can do. Maybe underdogs like Tier 2 lineup.
Yeah, and I do think that, I mean, the Williams, they could really come out and surprise us, couldn't they? They're a bit of an unknown entity in
Yeah.
both tiers, but that adds to the drama, doesn't it? And yeah, I think this tier 1 lineup really does preface, if you want to pronounce it, a cracking season ahead, especially with the calendar that we've got. I mean, these drivers, I'm sure they'll put on a good show at every single track, and I'm very much
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yep. So I guess it's the moment they've all been waiting for now.
Yes, we're gonna have to reel it. So we've gone through the calendar. That's what I'm looking for. The calendar and the 2 lineups. But what really no one knows what's coming is the very exciting announcement that we've got to share to you all. And Rambo, would you like to introduce it to us?
Yep. So I'll just wait for the stream to load it in so I know what I'm talking
There
about.
you go. It's loaded in.
Come on, full load. Yep, so for the very first season, HRL is going to have a prize pool for both Tier 1 and Tier 2 Drivers' Championships. So, the person that is very kindly and generously done this is XR Monkey, so it would be greatly appreciated if you could all go and leave your regards and general chat to him, because, you know, it's a very kind gesture he's done for us.
Yes, definitely.
So I think now that there's a prize on the line, everyone will be very determined to win that championship.
Exactly. I've just seen Wilson's Wilson vote in the chat. I love free £15. I quite like that. It's quite good from Wilson. But
Confident.
yeah, it's a very exciting project. Yeah, thanks to Monkeys for it, because it is an incredibly kind thing to do, an exciting thing to do. I think Ulleru is the most excited person, judging by looking at the chat. I think that's 11 T's, if I've counted that correctly. I might not, my eyesight's gone a bit. But he looks very excited. But that is the big announcement. So, of those drivers you've seen, the Drivers' Champion will take home a £15 prize. But
Yeah,
the way...
if you are under 18,
Yeah, I was about to
then,
mention that, yeah.
you know, we will be... Yeah, so we'll just be giving the gift cards out, because obviously you won't have your own bank account. And then if you're over 18, you have the option of whether you want a gift card or you just want to transfer it straight to you. And also, if you are on a different platform, then, you know, we can find ways of getting gift cards. So then everyone's happy with it.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's a great prospect. I really do think it's going to be very. It's going to be a bigger motivation than you often get, isn't it? For some drivers.
Yep.
I mean, for an extra £5, you know, you've got to, yeah. Ulleru, what if the currency is different? No, so if the currency, it doesn't matter. We'll send you the equivalent of, because if you sent £15 into a bank account, then it'll automatically convert it into whatever currency that is. So if it's a euro, then the £15 will be what 22 odd euro or something. it'll go straight into that, but it'll still be the equivalent of £15 because we can't we can't get Monkey. He's doing this nicely for us, so then all of a sudden have to, oh sorry, could you just pay him €17 32 please? Because I don't think that'll be very well worked. But yes, that's how it'll work. We hope. Oh no, we know because it'll work like that very easily. But it's going to be very interesting. 1685. You know what? It was a good guess. When I said 1732, I'm not far off with that. I'm going to take that as half a point.
Oh, no, you're not.
Yeah, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that very happily. It helped that I was. It helped that I went to Paris last week. So yeah. That's. I think that is what's going to be a very. And that's the wrong thing. A very exciting season ahead.
Yeah.
So I can't see anything other than a cracking battles in prospect for both Div 2 and Div 1. And
Yeah, I
I
think we're in
myself
for a
am looking
thrilling
forward to it.
season.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And if you could pick, just kind of to wrap it up really, if you could pick a particular track that you're looking forward to, what would it be?
Ooh. I'm gonna have to go with Brazil. It's my favourite one. It's between that and Saudi, but I'm ledging towards Brazil.
Yeah, and actually before I answer this, I'll just say, if anybody in the chat, if they've got any questions now about anything, you chuck them in the chat, and if we can answer them, we will. But I might as well say that now before I, give you some time. But yeah, I do think, I have to kind of agree with Brazil there, but Saudi Arabia, I think, will be really exciting because it's a track where anything can happen, and with it being so close to the end of the season, it'll be really exciting, and I think it can swing the championship massively in someone's favour. Or maybe away from someone. You never know.
Yeah. We look at. Yeah, it happened to me plenty of times.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, let's have a look. We are starting this week. So, on Monday. So, 2 days' time, it's going to be the Austrian Grand Prix. And in 3 days' time, it's going to be the Austrian Grand Prix. At Rambo, I'll let you just, what day and times are both tiers?
Tier 2 is Mondays at 8 p.m. GMT, and Tier 2 Tuesdays 8 p.m. GMT.
I mean, tier 1 Mondays 8 p.m.
Tier 2 Mondays.
Yeah, hang on. We've both got ourselves. I think you said tier 2 for both of them.
Yeah.
And then I said so it's tier 2's for Monday and tier 1 for Tuesday. There we go. And then you're there, 8 p.m. this channel. 4 of you. I mean, there's 119 followers, and there's 28 of you watching. So there's, unless you're racing this, no excuse not to tune in.
Then we've got Ghost asking, "Can you make the championship now?" No, we've got Ghost and Wilson, very confident.
Well, I don't know. I think Ghost is just asking as if we can give it to him rather than, I'm gonna win it. I don't know.
Oh, probably because he's gonna spin.
Yeah. Racing this Tuesday.
He's got history.
Yes, we're racing this Tuesday. Are there new settings to the race? That's a good question. I can't remember. Are there new settings, Ramo? I think settings are
no, not really. We're just
that's actually one thing to note. You've actually jogged my mind. I think there's a couple of rule tweaks, isn't there?
Yeah, I was just going to speak about that.
Yeah, you go for it because you'll probably have them in front of you.
I haven't got the changed ones, but I can just go on an overall view of it. So the rules we've changed to be more strict because obviously last season, some of you may know there was some bad driving standards sometimes. So the penalties are going to be a lot harsher this season to ensure that we can have the best racing we can without people taking each other out or any unnecessary moves.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, just aiming for clean competitive racing, as every other league does.
Yeah, and then also with better, policing is not the right word, but better, more effective, more effective scripting in terms of, the rules are much clearer, they're less vague, so you know what you can and can't do. That's what we've tried to do for
Yeah.
this season, and we hope that all goes well, and we hope that everyone can kind of understand exactly what we mean in the rules, because I know some leagues, not this one, some leagues have rules that are so incredibly vague that you don't really know where the line is of what is and isn't acceptable. But we've tried to fix that problem, and we hope, and of course little tweaks can be done, but we hope we've done that there. The assist restrictions, I believe, are staying the same.
Assists.
Yeah, of course you're allowed
There is
assists.
changes actually.
Oh, is that all?
Pit assist is being disabled, ERS assist is being disabled, and DRS assist. I believe that's all of them. So apart from that, everything else is enabled.
But most people have that off anyway, so it shouldn't be that big of a thing for some people. And if you've got to learn it, it'll take you about 3 seconds, I reckon, to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing very constricting that we've changed, so that'll be fine. Is anyone else? Ghost says he's taking Rambo out at round 1. I
would have already spun by that time.
off the line, just give it a kick of throttle, and just spin it around. But yeah, I
That's pretty
think
common.
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, I think we have.
We've gone through
everything.
the announcement, we've gone through the calendar, we've gone through the lineup for Div 2 and Div 1. We've answered some questions that people have posed in the chat. Penalty for heading up too early. Oh, yes, there is a penalty for heading up too early. Oh, yes, are there penalty points? Yes, there are penalty points. Now, the penalty point system is, if you look in the chat, in the rules section, then there's the exact list of rules. But just as a general rule of thumb, 10 penalty points is a race ban, 5 penalty points is a qualifying ban. So you can already tell from that an incident with penalty points, you're not going to get, let's say, 5 penalty points for a collision. You may do in some other leagues. But penalty points will be handed out much more restrictively here, in terms of there only be, like penalties will only be more like 1, 2, 3 points rather than 5 or 10 that you might see in other leagues. Yes.
Yeah, we've got a spreadsheet with the penalty points, so
yeah. So it's
hopefully they don't get too high throughout the season.
Yeah, it's all hopefully you have to open it once. But I feel like that might be too much of a wish. But yes, very much looking forward to the season. I think we have covered everything. And
Yep.
I'm very much looking forward to the season ahead. Calendar, everything will be posted in respective channels later this evening. Roles are being added as we speak, which is fantastic. Tier 2 and Tier 1 same calendar, yes. So yes, everything's being added. Everything's going to be uploaded. We hope you're as excited for this season as we are, and we'll see you on Monday. It's less than 48 hours away for the start of the season, Tier 2 Austria. My massive thanks to Rambo for being alongside me for this. And I think everyone's massive thanks to Monkey for the, quote-unquote, donation for the prize pot. But, yeah, anything else to add, Rambo?
Yeah, I would just like to take a moment to thank you, obviously, for setting up this whole stream. It's, been very entertaining, so I'm sure everyone's enjoyed it. Obviously, thanks to Monkey for his generous contribution.
Definitely.
And I would also like to thank the admin staff team for helping out with the preparation of Season 5. They'll also be helping out throughout the season, so yeah, just like to take a moment to thank everyone on the team, because it wouldn't be possible without them.
Exactly. and the mods who are very keen to be doing who are very keen to be adding the roles, which is helping us because we can sit here nice and calmly having a nice chat, nice natter.
Yeah, they're just
while
setting
they're
up their
doing-
keyboards ready to go.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how we like it. But yeah, I'm excited. We hope you're excited. We thank you all for tuning in and watching the stream. Monday. I know I've just said it, but Monday, 8 p.m. This channel, Tier 2 Austrian Grand Prix, start of Season 5. You don't want to be anywhere else. And we're looking forward to it. Big thanks everyone, and we will see you just at the start of next week. It's less than 48 hours away, and we can't wait for it. We'll see you when Season 5 begins in proper.